Alright, so I'm just going to give you a little tour of my LandCruiser. I am setting it up to be a bit of an all-rounder really, but with a large focus on being a bug-out vehicle. I do live in central Victoria, just a few hours drive from the Victorian high country, which is an absolutely vast expanse of really rough, harsh terrain and mountainous areas. But if you are prepared, then you can survive out there for quite some time. There's a lot of deer and fish in the rivers, and plenty of clean, clear water to be drinking and that, so it's a good place to go to if I ever need to. And that's what I'm setting up this vehicle to be able to do. You'll notice at the front here, I have two spotlights. Well, I'll go through the modifications. So I've got two spotlights. They're MaxLume Spotlights. They're not wired up at the moment. They weren't working, so I'm going to go through, redo all the connections and see if that helps. I've got some nice heavy chain here with 5-ton hooks on each end. Now these are only the factory recovery points just here, so they're fairly thin. I will be replacing those with something much thicker and stronger, but for now I've got these on here. These are the Shackles off another leaf sprung vehicle. Just makes it easier to get these big hooks on there. Alright, I've got this old UHF aerial here, which I will be wiring up to my radio, seeing as my standard aerial is broken off. I've got larger tyres fitted, more aggressive tyres, 33 by 12.5 inch Federal Courageous mud tyres on 15 by 7 inch alloy rims. Alright, I've also got 2-inch extended shackles on the truck, which gives it a little bit of lift and gives it the necessary height and clearance to clear the bigger tyres. Moving towards the back of the vehicle, I have a 3-inch Lukey exhaust. That's a mild steel exhaust, as you can see. It's got a few rust problems, a couple of holes in it. So I will be replacing that within the next 2 or 3 years, as needed. Rear bar here, which I will eventually be getting rid of and custom fabbing up my own rear bar for Jerrycans, to hold Jerrycans and Spare Tire. Alright, moving inside the vehicle. It does have an aftermarket turbo kit, so I've got the boost gauge up there, ARB turbo timer down there. It also has an overdrive box linked up to the 5-speed manual transmission, so when I'm cruising at say 90 or 100 kilometers an hour down the highway, I can put the overdrive gear in and it drops the RPM by about 500 RPM, which is quite significant and does give me much better fuel economy on the open road. Being that it's a diesel, it's the 2H diesel, which is a 4-litre 6-cylinder diesel engine made by Hino. And for an engine of its size, it does have remarkable fuel economy. I've had it out for over an hour of driving around in the bush, and the fuel needle didn't even move. And I was pushing it fairly hard as well. I've added some old army pouches to the grab handle there, just for a bit of extra storage, seeing as I don't actually have a center console to store things in. Thanks to the 3/4 bench seat. I've made a seat cover for the driver's seat, a bit of a rough job, but I'm no good at sewing or anything like that, so I kind of just zip tied it on. It's canvas, thick canvas from one of my old swags, and I've double layered it, so it's quite sturdy and protects the seat very well. I have an electronic braking system down there for towing brake trailers, and that does increase my towing capacity by quite a lot. Moving towards the back inside of the vehicle, I have an old metal ammo box down there, and I've got stored in that just some basic non-perishable food items. I've got several boxes of matches in double layered in Ziploc bags to keep them waterproof. And of course I've always got my swag in the back there, my new Calkine swag. That's always in the back there, ready to go. It's not roadworthy as of yet, although it soon will be. I just need to replace a couple of other things, one of them being putting in that new relay arm on the seat there. Moving underneath the vehicle, as you can see, it's got quite a lot of ground clearance. I would say from the chassis to the ground is probably a good 1.5 foot, probably a good 60 centimeters. So quite a lot of ground clearance, big solid axle, thick solid axles with big diffs at both ends, leaf sprung, solid bash plates over the transfer case, and that along with a diesel engine and a 90 litre fuel tank and the big aggressive tyres means that I can get just about anywhere I want to go. I will eventually be adding a diff lock or two, probably starting with the rear diff lock, just to increase the off-road ability even more, as well as eventually a complete suspension overhaul, all new suspension. So yeah, this is my it's a bit of an ongoing project of mine. It'll be a bit of an ongoing project. Hopefully it'll be on the road within a month or two. But yeah, so it's an ongoing project, a bit of work, but it should be well worth it. Eventually also I want to repaint it. The paint, as you can see, is getting pretty scratched in some places. All there's all scratched. Also white's not a very good colour for blending into the bush. So eventually I want to repaint it, maybe an olive drab or something like that. Something that's not going to hopefully draw too much attention in town, like not a really gaudy camo paint job or something, but maybe just some olive drab or a shade of green or something, some shade of green or possibly brown. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so I will be posting periodic updates on this vehicle and keeping you all posted on its progress, because I've done a fair bit to it already, but it's still got a lot of work to do. And yeah, I hope you join me and follow the travels of me and my 60.